Question 20 is about ratio and rate and proportion. The question says a tank is used to store water. If water is used at the rate of 100 liters per day, the tank will be empty in 40 days. The question is, if the water is used at the rate of 100 liters per day, the tank will be empty in 40 days. So, how long does the water last if the rate is 50? So that's the first question. If this rate is now, if the rate is 50 liters per day, and if the rate is 250 liters per day. Again, water is used at the rate of 100 liters per day, and for this, it lasts for 40 days for the whole tank to be used. Maybe because there are a lot of people in that apartment. Now, the rate of using it is now 50 liters per day. How long will it last? And also, if the rate is 250 liters, how long does it last? Does anybody remember how to do this? It's inversely proportion, but we don't have to go this way. We have never done this when we learned that. So what do we do?
Ratio. If 100 divided by 50 is 2, and then it means 100 divided by 2 is 50, that means 1.
Okay, while that may be right, if we eventually do it, we need to think beyond, oh, we're just going to multiply by 2 or divide by 2. There's a reason. Can you explain why? Yes, any other idea? Yes. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just need you to explain it in a better way.
Use 100 to divide 40, you can get...
You use 100 to... Giselle, I'm going to ask both of you to excuse this class. I need one class. Yes, please. Yes, Sandy? Speak louder, please. The total what?
Like the total amount of water. Okay.
The total amount of water. Okay, is what?
So 100 times 40, so it would be...
So if you use 100 liters per day, she's suggesting that we can find the total capacity of water, right? So total amount or capacity, I call it amount. The capacity might be confusing to some of you. Total amount of water available, because the amount is the same. So if somebody uses 100 liters per day, how many capacity in total we have? 100 times 40. So we have what? 4,000 liters, correct? So if we have 4,000 liters, and if the rate is 50 liters per day, it's easy to find how many days. What do? We just divide. So 4,000 divided by 50. So how many days is this one? 80 days. And if the rate is 250, what do? You still do 4,000 divided by 250. Is that right? Yes. How many days would this last? 60? 16 days. So that's all about the problem. So you could see that when the rates reduce, the number of days increase. From 100 to 50, this jumped from 40 to 80. That's what she was trying to say. Because it reduced by half, it will be multiplied by 2. But I need explanations like this, not just, oh, mental math, multiply, divide, whatever. There's a reason you must do it that way. Any other, next question? Yes. Okay, this is about upper and lower bound from the November 16 worksheet. Okay, question 7. Okay, there are two things I put together under the application and activity. Question 7. The area of a rectangular field, you don't need to draw the shape, I'm just, because you don't have the question, that's why I'm putting it in this form. This area is 350 meters square to the nearest 10. So because it's to the nearest 10, what do we subtract from the limit and add to the limit? 5. So, which means the area is 8, so there's no need to use x here. So that would be what? 345 meters square less than or equal to 8 less than what? 355 meters squared. So we know that. Okay? One of the lengths, maybe this or this, nobody knows. Okay? One of the length is 16. So maybe I pretend it's this one. 16 meters to the nearest meter. So because it's to the nearest meter, what do we subtract, what do we add? 0.5. To the nearest meter means to the nearest unit. A unit is the ones. So that's why you consider 0.5. So one of the lengths, so maybe I just call it length or we call it width, doesn't matter. So that will be what? 15.5 meter less than or equal to the length, maybe L1. Okay? Less than what? 16.5 meter. So this, even if you get it wrong, the fact that we are able to see this, you can still get some point. But many of you just say, oh, 355 divided by this, or 355 divided by this, or this divided by, you just go straight into the calculation, and most of the time you get it wrong. Then you just waste every opportunity to get one of the 2 points. Okay? Aren't you supposed to be outside writing a test? We had a deal. Then you see me after the class. Okay, now to find the other length, from the formula, area of a rectangle is L times W. In this case, the W is L2, so I call it L1 and L2. Does it make sense? So if I need the other length, what do I do? Area divided by. So it's a division now, okay? So the other length, L2, is actually area divided by L1, right? And if, now we are looking for the upper and lower bound. Oh, two things now. Upper and lower bound. So for the upper bound of L2, then we see what happens to the lower bound of L2. Okay? For the upper bound, what do we do? Which of these bounds do we divide by which of the bound?
355.
So for the upper bound, it is upper bound, right? Divided by lower bound. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And for the lower bound of the other length, what do we do?
Lower bound.
Lower bound of A divided by,
Upper bound.
sorry. Okay. Upper bound of L. That's what I mean by UL, UA. Do you get that?
Yes.
Okay, so let's substitute now. Any questions? So 355 divided by what? 15.5. And this will be 345 divided by 16.5. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Any degree of accuracy? No. If it is not stated, you leave it in 3 significant figures. So what is this?
22.9.
32.9 meter, and this will be
20.9. 20.9.
20.9. Any questions? Questions?
Oh, yes.
Okay, next. Okay, this is from percentage of quantities. September 11 paper. Oh, 9/11. Jamila, this is September 11.
What is about?
That day.
You an American.
Oh.
You know what September 11 signifies?
I'm not American, I'm Persian.
Oh my God. Oh, you're not?
No, I'm Persian.
Mr. Trump, she's denying her passport. All right, so question 9 from September 11 worksheet. So some of you keep this thing for so long. That's okay. Whenever Mr. Daniel makes a bank transfer of any amount in USD, GT Bank PLC Nigeria, actually that's my bank back home. GT Bank PLC charges 0.5 of the amount as commission. So whenever I make my transfer, the commission of the bank is 0.5% of the amount that I wish to make a transfer. So imagine I'm sending money to maybe Justin, for example, and the amount I'm sending, 0.5% of it is the bank commission for helping me move the money out of the country. Okay? and also charges 0.05. So maybe I put of the amount. They also charge 0.05 as VAT. We call it value added tax. The VAT is 0.05% of the commission. So if I'm sending 100 mob, 0.5% of the 100 mob is the commission. Then the VAT goes to the government. VAT is, oh, you have made some money from this customer. We need part of it to build roads or do whatever we need to do, even though they don't use the money for that. Anyway. Alright. So that VAT is 0.05% of the commission. Remember, the commission is the profit back for the bank, then the government takes part of it. Does it make sense? Now, Mr. Daniel plans to transfer 22,250. Why would I send that to you, Justin? That's a lot of money. Anyway, so the amount I wish to transfer to Justin, who is the friend in this question. Let's assume he's the friend in this question. Well, maybe I just want him to keep it for me. How much must he have in his account to make this transfer possible? Remember, I'm going to need a lot of money in my account, right, to make this whole thing possible. Okay? Suppose I have only this in my account. Will it be possible? Because remember, I need to pay for the commission and I need to pay for the VAT as well. Okay? Does it make sense? Oh, I think I mistakenly mentioned the fact that the VAT goes to, it's taken from the bank. No, it's still from me. Okay, that's a misconception. It's still from me. I pay for everything. Now, this is what happens anytime I transfer money from my account in Nigeria, actually. If I'm paying someone abroad, this is what I go through every time. So this is a real life problem. Okay, now, let's take it one by one. So we need to find out how much I need as commission, right? And how much I need as VAT. And that is the minimum amount I must have in my account. Otherwise, the transaction doesn't go through. Does it make sense? Okay. So what do we do first? Anyone?
Calculate the commission.
Calculate the commission. So 0.5%, that's 0.5 divided by 100, right? Of the amount, which is 22,250. So how much is the commission?
11125.
111.25?
2.25. Yeah.
What's 0.2?
Yeah.
When they said 11125, I'm like, what? I'm going to pay the bank 11,000 commission? Isaac, you are free to do that. They will appreciate you. The customer of the year. Anyway, now, then the next is to calculate the VAT, right? The value added tax. And that will be 0.05 out of 100. Remember, this percent means out of 100. It's not inclusive in this. Okay? Times what now?
111.
Exactly.
111.2.
So what is that?
0.0556.
Because its money is two decimal places.
0.06.
Okay? These are standard approximations you should know. Money is two decimal place. Angles, one decimal place. Every other length, three significant figures. So you don't put money in three significant figures. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So this is, now what do I do with these two now? Add it to this. So I add it to 111.25 and 0.06. And what do I get altogether? Can you say it one by one? This is not a competition. You don't have to be fast. Yes, anyone? 22, 361 point. I believe she meant 36.
31.
So 31.
31?
305 is.
Because it's 0.25.
Like this?
Yeah.
So this is the amount. So that is the amount I need. Did I say the least amount? How much must he have? Okay, I must have this or more. If I have more than that in my account, it goes. But I shouldn't have anything less than this. Otherwise, the transaction will not be possible. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Next question? Well, since you all are now asking questions, she's asking a question. Okay. This question says square root of z, not 2. Square root of z is a rational number. You know what a rational number is?
Yeah.
It can be written as fraction or terminating decimal, also rational numbers. Okay? If the decimal terminate is rational, because you can write it as fraction. So root z is a rational number between root 105 and root 135. Find the value of z. What did you do? This root.
105.
Okay, what is root 105? 10 point what?
10.25.
10.25. And what is this one?
11.6.
11.62. So what do you think this will be? 11. So 11. This is an approximation, right?
Yeah.
All these are approximations. Okay? So we can take this as 11, which means z is what? 121. So root z must have been 11, such that z itself is 121. Does it make sense? Okay?
So rational numbers are like they go on and on, or they're sorry, so they don't.
I don't understand your question.
Rational numbers, they.
And what are rational numbers again? You gave us a definition the other time. They can be written as fraction.
Oh.
Irrational is the one that cannot. This cannot be written as fraction. This cannot be written as fraction. But if this must be rational, so the easiest rational number is a whole number.
Oh, okay.
11 is actually just one of them. It is the easiest. You can add 11.1. It's still in between. Then you square 11.1 and you get 121 point whatever. Does it make sense? But it's easier to work with whole number as long as it's in between these two. Yes, Mr. Elson. Okay. Quiet, please. From the parallelism, perpendicularity, and equation of line worksheet, 23rd April, question 15. If you have that worksheet, you can look at it. Some of you did it, some of you did not. Silence, please. If you have any question, you ask me. I do not want to tell anyone to be quiet again. I gave you this picture. You remember this? So line 1 and line 2 meet somewhere here. And that's all I gave you. But there are lines on the graph. I ask you to find the equation of line 2. Now this I think I told you the equation of line 1 is negative 24, which means this part is negative 24. Agree?
Yes.
And if you check, how many lines do we have
4 lines.
between here and here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay? So if this is if this is negative 24, it means each of this is what?
6.
Negative 6. 6. Each unit is 6. So this is 6, 12, 18, 24. So down is negative, up will be positive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now that we are sure that this is 6, then at the top there are 2. Okay? Which means this thing is, are they 2?
Yes.
Yes. Which means this intercept is what?
12.
12. So the y-intercept of L2, so for the L2, the y-intercept, which is C, is 12. So the equation is mx plus 12. We are sure about that. Okay? So for getting this 12, I give you some point. The next thing we need is the gradient of L2. And gradient is also easy. We need to know what this place is. The fact that each of these is 6 does not mean each of the one in X is 6, because the scale may not be the same. Okay? Elson actually assumed, oh, they are not perpendicular just because of the way it was drawn. Diagrams are not drawn to scale. Okay? They are actually perpendicular eventually. Okay? Now, because the scales may not be the same, you cannot assume these are 6 units each, then this must be 6 units each. So you need to check. How do we check? We know that L1, whose equation is known, meets at this point. This point is the x-intercept. At x-intercept, it means y is equal to 0. Is that not? So if you can get when y is equal to 0 here from x1, so from L1, at y equals 0, what happens? We know 0 equals 3 over 2x minus 24, which means 3 over 2x is equal to 24, right? And that implies that 3x must be 48, which means x is equal to 16. So this is 16. So for getting that 16, I give you points, because these are different things you are working on. So those of you that just jump into, oh, they are perpendicular, they are not perpendicular, you are losing a lot of points. Okay? Now that we are sure this is 16, so we count how many lines to get to that. How many are they? They are 8. So if they are 8, then each of these is what? 2. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? Now that we know each of these is 2, well, even if we don't get that, we could get the gradient of L2 now. Because now we know the change in y, and we know the change in x. Can you see that? If I consider just this part, okay? What?
You draw something wrong. Because I remember L2, like the x-intercept should be 18.
X-intercept? This is 18?
Like they don't, the L2, the x-intercept shouldn't be 16.
Shouldn't be 16?
Yeah, you can check.
Then something is wrong here.
No, you draw the diagram wrong.
Really?
Yes.
I think there's 3 lines up.
The 3 lines up. No, there are 2 lines. Can you check your worksheet? Did I draw this diagram wrong?
It's 16.
Is it 16 or 18?
16. It shows 16 here.
And I marked it right. So it's 16.
No, line 2's x-intercept is 18.
Oh, she means the two x-intercept is different.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's true. So they do not meet here. That's what she's saying. That's true. I just saw it now. They do not meet at the same point. Thank you. So look, this is the case. Which one intersect first? This intersect first, right? So these meet here, but these meet somewhere here. Okay, I didn't see that initially. So these, which one is the 16?
16 is straight line.
L1, right? Which one is L1 again? L1. So this is 16. Then the next line is where L2 meet. That's 18. Thank you for that. Does it make sense, everyone?
Yes.
So this is for L1. X is 16. So if you count, you know each of them is 2 units. Then for L2, X must be 18. Does it make sense? So for L2, X is equal to 18 when Y is equal to 0. Okay? So that's what he's trying to say. Thank you for that. I didn't say that initially. Now, we can find the gradient of L2. So gradient of L2, change in Y divided by change in X. This gradient will be negative, so you shouldn't get a positive gradient. Do you understand that? So for L, yes, this is still L2. Gradient is changing Y divided by changing X. So if I put this as X1, Y1, then this could be my X2, Y2. Agree? I'm talking to everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, changing Y, Y2 minus Y1. What is Y here?
18.
Really?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, 0.
0. Y1 is what? 12, right? What is X2?
18.
18. What is X1? 0. So we get negative 12 divided by 18, which is negative 6 is what? 2 divided by 3. Okay? So if the gradient of one of them is negative 2 divided by 3, and the gradient of the other one is 3 divided by 2, are they parallel or perpendicular or not? They are perpendicular. So this is M2 for gradient of M2. From here, M1 is 3 over 2 for gradient of M1. So I just need you to say, oh, since M1 times M2, then you do the computation. 3 over 2 times that is negative 1. Then L1 and L2 are perpendicular. Oh, the equation of L2 was the first question, sorry. This is B part of the question. Okay? The A part of the question from here It's asking for the gradient of L2. Now that we know the it's asking for the equation. Now that we know the gradient and we know the intercept, what is the equation? Y equals mx plus c becomes y equals what? Negative 2 over 3x plus 12. Okay? Then the second part is this, because you can pick out the equation, the gradient. Any question next? Maybe we can take one more question because the last 5 minutes I want us to have a group class picture. Okay, nice. I love this question. There's a question from cosine rule. Question 7 on the cosine rule. Who has done it? What if that question comes out in the exam? I need everybody's attention on this question. The question says, question 7, cosine rule worksheet given this Monday. Okay. The question says P ratio Q ratio R in any triangle is 1:2:1. I've asked you to find these ratios. I give you the ratio of sides. I've asked you to find the ratio of the angles. Is this for you, Alex? I've asked you to find the ratio of the angles. Who has done it and where do you think we should begin? Okay, who has not done it? Okay, let's reason together now. What do you think is the first thing? You see, this is why I give you worksheet and I ask you to return it. Because if I tell you it's not a graded worksheet, nobody makes attempts. So if you get to the exam room and you see something like this now, then you waste 5 minutes, 10 minutes trying to even understand the question. And that would be a shame. I expect you to have made that attempt on this problem. Today is Wednesday, since Monday. That's not nice. So, what do you think should be the first thing? The first thing should be to have a sketch of what the shape looks like. What kind of triangle is this? Isosceles. So if these are the 1:1 ratio, then this is this. Then this will be the one with ratio 2. Now this is P and R. So P and R. So this must be P, this must be R. Alright? And this must be Q. Does everybody get that? So what are these sides? 1:2. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Do you all agree?
Yes.
Strong.
It's a ratio.
It's a ratio. This is the simplest form. Nobody told you the ratio is 1:1, the sides are 1:1 and √2 centimeter or whatever. We're saying after reducing the ratio of the side, this is what you get. Which means some number has been used to divide all the sides equally, isn't it? So if that number is K, what are these sides? K √2. So this is the perfect picture. Does it make sense? This is the perfect picture. Questions? I could start with P or R easily, but I'm going to start with Q because of something I wanted to see. So because I'm starting with Q, I state the cosine rule of Q. How many of you, after you get to this point, think, oh my God, this is not a number. I don't think this thing is possible. Raise your hand. If you think you get to this point and be like, maybe I shouldn't continue because this question would not be possible. Elsin, dog, please. Yeah, thanks for being sincere. Why would you think maybe there's something wrong? Maybe you're doing something wrong?
Because if you're trying to solve an equation,